Do you want to know the real estate market's dirtiest secret? The bank isn't lending you $500,000 because they believe in your success. The bank is lending it because they are betting on your failure. They looked at your $80,000 salary. They looked at the absurd price of a house falling apart, and they approved the loan anyway. Why? Because they know that the moment you turn the key in that door, you become a hostage. You can't quit your job. You can't complain. You can't fail. They set the perfect trap. Today, we are going to dismantle this trap piece by piece. But for the trap to work, it needs bait. And I want you to take a good look at what they are using to capture you. Honestly, look at this. We are not standing in front of a palace. We are standing in front of a piece of generic 90s architecture, tired and depressing. The beige vinyl siding is starting to fade, as if the house itself has given up. The grass in the yard, it's the exact size of a beach towel, and it is struggling to survive. If you walk in there right now, you will smell that unmistakable scent, a mix of old plywood and synthetic carpet that has absorbed 2 decades of dust and frustrated dreams. The kitchen? Laminate countertops that were modern in 2003, and cabinets that squeak as if they are in pain when you open them. In any rational moment of human history, this would be considered basic shelter. A transition house. The real estate agent, with that shark smile and cheap suit, has the audacity to call this a starter home. But in 2026, insanity has taken over. The system took this box of wood and drywall and put a price tag on it that should be illegal. Do you know how much it costs to fall into this trap? $500,000. $500,000. While you're sitting there on your rented sofa, doing frantic mental math with your stagnant salary, asking yourself if you missed a secret meeting where they handed out free money or if the whole world has gone mad. Let me give you a spoiler. You are not crazy. The market is the one that has completely lost its mind. I spend my days observing the flow of money and the flow of human desperation. And what I see in these suburban streets is not the American dream. I see a crime scene. I see entire families walking voluntarily into a concrete trap from which it will take them 30 years to escape. Today, we are not just going to complain about prices. Complaining is for victims. We are architects of destiny. Today, we are going to do something that would make any real estate agent sweat cold and any bank manager call security. We are going to run the real, brutal, unfiltered math of who can actually afford this house in 2026. I'm not talking about who can get bank approval. The bank would approve a corpse if it had a co-signer. I'm talking about who can buy this without turning their life into a perpetual financial stress simulator. Get ready. We are going to dissect the lie they have told you since the cradle. I am Buck. And this is the autopsy of your home ownership dream. Before we get into the bloody numbers, we need to understand the disease. Why, in the name of all that is holy, would anyone sign a contract to pay $500,000 for that? The answer is not in economics. It is in deep psychology. Carl Jung spoke about the persona, the mask we use to present ourselves to society. In the United States and in much of the Western world, the deed to a house has become the heaviest and most essential part of that mask. The system programmed you from childhood with a very specific script. Your parents told you that renting is throwing money away. Your friends, who are secretly broke, post photos with keys in hand and hashtags about new beginnings. TikTok shows 22-year-old influencers renovating colonial mansions without explaining where the capital came from. There is a subliminal pressure, almost biological, that tells you that if you don't own land, you are not a complete adult. You're a tourist in your own life. The system uses your insecurity, your fear of being left behind, as leverage to push you into debts you do not understand. The bank knows this. The government knows this. They know you will stretch your budget to the breaking point. You will eat instant noodles for 5 years. You will sacrifice your vacations and your mental health. All so you don't have to admit to your brother-in-law at the Sunday barbecue that you still pay rent. They sell you the idea of stability. But I, the wise observer, look at this $500,000 house And I don't see stability, I see fragility. The moment you sign that 30-year mortgage based on two salaries that need to be perfect forever, you have eliminated all your options. You can't quit the job you hate because the mortgage is due on the 1st. You can't move to another city to take an opportunity because selling the house costs 6% in commission and takes months. You can't start a business because you have no liquidity. Your money is buried in bricks and mortar. The owned home at these current prices has ceased to be an asset of freedom and has become a concrete anchor. And the supreme irony is that you pay compound interest to carry this anchor around your neck. But emotions lie. Math does not. So let's put psychology aside for a moment and look at the financial abyss that this basic house really represents. Let's define the battlefield. We are talking about a house worth $500,000. It is not a mansion. In cities like Denver, Austin, Seattle, or anywhere an hour away from a functional metropolis, this is the minimum to not live in a war zone. Now, look at your bank account. Look at your paycheck. The median household income in the United States is about $84,000. Do the division. We're asking normal people to buy an asset that costs 6 times their gross annual income. Your grandparents bought houses that cost 2 or 3 times their income. If this 6-to-1 ratio seems like madness, it is because it is. But the system keeps whispering that you can do it, that you are approved. Can you? Let's see how that money disappears. First, the myth of the down payment. The golden rule, the one financial gurus love to repeat, says to put 20% down to avoid high interest and insurance. Okay, 20% of $500,000 is $100,000 in cash. Let me repeat that so it sinks in. $100,000. Do you have $100,000 sitting in your account? The median savings account in the United States has about $8,000. You are not almost there. You are $92,000 away from the starting line. Many say they will save up. Really? If you earn the average of $84,000 and manage by a miracle of monastic discipline to save 10% of your gross income, which almost no one does, you are saving $8,400 a year. At that pace, it will take 12 years just to get the down payment. And guess what? In 12 years, this house won't cost $500,000. It will cost $800,000. You are chasing a bullet train on foot. So what does the herd do? They skip the down payment, they put down 5 or 10%, and this is where the bank smiles. Congratulations. By not having the 20%, you have unlocked a new expense called PMI, private mortgage insurance. This is not insurance for you. If you die, PMI doesn't pay for your house. If you lose your job, PMI doesn't help you. PMI protects the bank against your failure. It is a tax you pay for being poor. We are talking about $200 to $400 a month thrown in the trash. Burnt money, just for the privilege of owing more money to the bank. Now let's build the monster. You put 10% down, $50,000 that you scraped from the bottom of the barrel. Your loan is $450,000. The current interest rate fluctuates between 6 and 7%. Let's be realistic. Just principal and interest will cost you between $2,750 to $2,850 a month. Many people stop the calculation here. They look at the $2,800 and say, "Oh, I pay $2,500 in rent. It's almost the same thing." Isaiah, not the same thing. When you rent, $2,500 is the maximum you will pay in the month. When you buy, $2,800 is the minimum absolute you will pay before reality knocks on the door. Let's add the phantom cost the realtor forgot to mention. Property taxes. The government wants its share. On average, this will cost you $500 a month. And guess what? Taxes never go down, they only go up. You never own your house. If you stop paying the tax, the government takes it. You are just renting from the state. Homeowners insurance. Thanks to climate change, insurers are fleeing risk zones or doubling prices. Fires, floods, tornadoes. Prepare to pay $250 to $350 a month, and pray you are not in Florida or California. Maintenance. The ticking time bomb. The rule of calloused fingers says you should set aside 1% of the home's value per year for repairs. On a $500,000 house, that is $5,000 a year. That is $417 a month. You think you won't spend it? Wait until the water heater explodes at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. Wait until the roof starts leaking. Wait until the termites discover your fake wood. These things are not if, they are when. And of course, PMI. Add the $300 of poverty tax we already discussed. Let's go to the mathematical verdict. Let's add it all up. Mortgage, $2,850. Taxes, $500. Insurance, $300. Maintenance, $417. PMI, $300. Total monthly, $4,367. $4,367. That is more than $52,000 a year coming out of your pocket, net after taxes. That is more than many people earn in an entire year of hard work. Just to have a roof over your head. I want you to meet the Johnsons. They are the avatar of modern American success. They are the couple that did everything right. Both are college-educated professionals. They work hard. Together, their household income is $160,000 a year. That is almost double the national average. They are solidly upper middle class. They look at that $500,000 house and think they deserve it, that they can afford it, since they earn $160,000. But let's apply the wise observer's filter to the Johnsons' financial life and see how the dream turns into a nightmare. First, the great lie of gross salary. $160,000 seems like a lot until Uncle Sam shows up. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and maybe a modest contribution to retirement, what actually hits their bank account is about $9,500 a month. $9,500. Still seems like good money, right? It's a lot of money. Until you subtract the house. Remember our magic number, 4,367. 9,500 in income minus the house leaves $5,133. Now, Buck is going to show you how $5,000 evaporates in the economy of 2026 for a family of 4. Follow the bleeding. 1. Transportation. They live in the suburbs where nothing is close. They need 2 cars to go to work and pay for this house. 2 average car payments, plus gas, plus maintenance, plus insurance. There go $1,350. 2. Student debt. They needed expensive degrees to earn those salaries. The combined average payment is $600. 3. Healthcare. Work insurance covers most of it, but premiums and co-pays for a family of 4 take another $400. 4. Food. Have you been to the grocery store lately? To feed 4 people something that isn't processed and carcinogenic, it's $800 a month, and they are being frugal. 5. Big house utilities. Heating and cooling a poorly insulated 3-bedroom house, plus water, trash, high-speed internet, and cell phones. $450. Let's see the balance. We started with $5,100, minus the cars, minus the loans, minus healthcare, minus food, minus utilities. Real remaining balance, $1,533, $1,500. That is all that remains of that glorious income of $160,000 a year. And note what I did not include in this list. Clothes for kids who grow every 3 months, extracurricular activities, sports or classes, Christmas or birthday gifts, vacations. Forget Disney. We are talking about camping in the backyard. Furniture to fill the new house. Are they going to sleep on the floor? Serious investments for retirement. A real emergency fund. The Johnsons are spending 46% of their net income just on housing. Experts say it shouldn't exceed 28%. They are dangerously leveraged. And here is the terrifying part. They are one single bad event away from total collapse. If the car transmission breaks, that's $3,000 and they go to the credit card. If one of the kids needs braces, that's $5,000 and they finance it. If one of them loses their job or has hours reduced, the house of cards collapses in 90 days. They live with a low-level anxiety, constant buzzing in the back of their minds. They wake up at 3 in the morning doing mental math. They fight over the thermostat. They earn $160,000 a year, but they feel poor. They are poor. They are what I call paycheck rich, life poor. They bought the dream house, but the reality is they bought a very well-decorated prison cell. You must be wondering, but Buck, houses are still being sold. Who are these people? I'll tell you who they are. The real estate market today is sustained by 4 groups, and if you don't belong to one of them, you are the prey. First, the heirs. People who received a massive capital injection from their parents, the bank of mom and dad. They aren't paying the down payment with their salary. They're paying with generational wealth accumulated when houses cost $50,000. Second, the income elite. Couples with dual incomes in tech or finance sectors, earning combined $250,000 to $300,000. For them, the math works. They are the top 10%. Third, institutional investors. Huge corporations buying entire neighborhoods to rent back to you. They have cheap capital and a long-term vision. You cannot compete with BlackRock. Fourth, the desperate. The Johnsons. People who are stretching themselves to the absolute limit, ignoring all warning signs, walking toward bankruptcy in the first recession. If you earn the median income of $84,000 and are trying to buy this house, stop. This isn't a financial stretch. It is a financial fantasy. It is mathematically impossible without massive outside help or without accepting a level of risk that would make a skydiver vomit. But the market doesn't care. The broker will tell you that the market always goes up. The bank will approve you with 43% debt to income. No one in the transaction has an incentive to tell you the truth, because no one earns a commission if you decide to keep renting. The system was designed to get you into the house, not to ensure you can stay there. Let's see how this plays out over 5 years comparing 2 men, Lucas and Pedro. Lucas, the validation victim. Lucas bought the house. He won. He has the deed. But every month on the 1st, he feels a tightness in his chest. His budget is so tight he can't invest. The stock market went up 40% in the last 5 years, but Lucas didn't participate because all his capital goes to the mortgage and fixing the roof. He hates his boss, but he can't quit. He needs that salary to pay the bank. The house took away his leverage. He is trapped. He has equity in the house, but he can't eat the walls. He is rich on paper and miserable in practice. Now Pedro, the sovereign strategist. Pedro looked at the same house and said no. The math is offensive. He decided to rent a similar house for $2,800 or stay in a smaller apartment for $2,000. Remember, the cost of the house for Lucas was $4,367. Pedro is saving the difference, about $1,500 to $2,300 a month. He takes that money and invests religiously in the S&P 500. In 5 years, Pedro has a portfolio of $150,000 in liquid assets, money he can access at any time. If Pedro loses his job, he has years of guaranteed survival. If a business opportunity appears, he has capital to invest. Pedro sleeps soundly. If the shower breaks, he calls the landlord. He didn't buy bricks. He bought patience and options. Who is richer? The man with the $500,000 house and zero in the bank, or the man with zero debt and $150,000 invested? The system will say it's Lucas. Buck tells you it's Pedro. I am not telling you to never buy a house. I am telling you not to buy a house that will destroy your life. Here is the Housing Sovereignty Protocol to navigate the market of 2026. Rule number 1, the 25% net rule. Ignore what the bank says about 43% of gross income. The bank wants you to be a slave. Your personal rule must be The total cost of housing, including mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, must never exceed 25% of your monthly net income. To buy the $500,000 house safely, you need to take home $17,500 net per month. That means a gross annual income of $280,000 to $300,000. If you earn less than that, this house is not for you. Period. Rule number 2, the pillow test. If you need to do mental math at 3 in the morning to know if you can pay the mortgage if you lose your job, you're in the wrong house. If buying the house eliminates your ability to invest for retirement, you're in the wrong house. Rule number 3, renting is strategy, not failure. Remove the stigma. Renting is buying flexibility. It is outsourcing maintenance risk and climate risk to the landlord. Use renting as a tactical tool while you build your army of dollars. It is better to be a rich and sovereign tenant than a broken, stressed homeowner. Rule number 4, the nuclear option. Geographic arbitrage. If the math where you live is impossible, change the equation. Change cities. Change states. There is no physical law forcing you to live in a zip code that charges you an existence tax of $500,000. Sometimes the smartest move is to recognize the game is rigged and change tables. Look at this house one last time. It is not a trophy. It is just a pile of building materials organized in a way that costs you your entire life to pay off. There is no prize for suffering to pay bills. There is no medal of honor for those who sacrifice their children's childhood because they need to work overtime to pay for the granite in the kitchen. True wealth is not measured in square feet or quartz countertops. True wealth is measured in nights of peaceful sleep. It is measured in the ability to say no to an abusive boss because you have money in the bank. It is measured in the freedom of knowing that your life belongs to you, and not to a corporate bank that sees you only as a number on an amortization schedule. You have Buck's permission to do something radical. Don't play the game. You can look at that $500,000 house, do the real math, and say that it isn't worth it. You can keep renting. You can keep investing. You can protect your peace. The system will call you crazy. Your parents will call you stubborn. But 10 years from now, when the market turns and the Johnsons are drowning in debt, you will be watching from afar, safe in the fortress you built with patience and rationality. Do not let the dream of home ownership become the nightmare of your financial reality. No one is coming to save us. Not the government, not the boss, not luck. The hard truth is, if we don't build our own fortress, we'll be exposed when the storm arrives. Buck has been through this and knows. The best feeling in the world is laying your head on the pillow, knowing that no matter what happens out there, in here, we are safe. I want you to feel that same sense of security. I've prepared the exact map for you to build your walls. Start building now through the link in the first pinned comment. I'm Buck, and you can count on me. See you in the next chapter.